right. Welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style. And today we have Miss Tiara on the line with us. How are you, Tiara?
I'm fine. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. And Tiara has some beautiful gems of information that she's going to share with you. She is a positive, like-minded woman, and I only connect with the best. So stick around to the end. And for those of you that do, you are also going to have an opportunity to get a special complimentary gift. So Tiara, tell us one motivational quote that really gets you going, something that inspires you.
This quote is from Michelle Obama, and it says, "There's still many causes worth sacrificing for, so much history yet to be made." So as a millennial, this is very motivating because I think a lot of times we see, okay, the civil rights happened, the feminist or the womanist movement has happened. So what is my role in society since everything has been changed? But this reminds us and it allows us to reflect on, okay, there's a lot of work to be done, one in America and other countries. So we should keep on finding solutions to make our society and our inner communities better, individually and then as a community.
That is so beautiful because we sometimes believe that the work of people that came before us or our ancestors is enough. Like we're good now, but there's always more work to be done. And it takes a certain type of person to see that acts of service is going to help us grow as a nation and as a world.
Yeah.
And I think that people like Michelle Obama, that's just so positive and just extends her heart out into the community, are people that we need more of. And we don't need to be a Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
We could be the average everyday girl next door to make an imprint and a footprint in this world. I love that. That's beautiful. Tell us about a time in your own life where perhaps you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you used some of those characteristics and traits to maybe even push through some obstacles to achieve a goal or achieve a dream that you set forth for yourself.
Yeah. So I'm a senior currently, graduating in a couple of days. And so my freshman year, I got diagnosed with lupus. And so I was devastated, but I definitely had a support system.
Good.
So my mother has lupus and my aunt has lupus as well. And we have a couple family friends who has lupus. So I definitely knew like what to do, what was going to happen with my body, what I needed to do to adjust my body to this new disease. However, I think sometimes like when we get labeled with like a disease like lupus or depression or anything, that we make that our forefront and we make that our brand. And I knew like I was not a brand ambassador for lupus. Like it's not that I didn't want to keep it private or keep it a secret. I just didn't want to be like, oh, that's that girl who has lupus. I wanted to be something more. So I think throughout college, I really had to battle of how do I still live out my purpose and know like what God has called me to do while taking care of my body and making sure there's balance in my life. So, for example, I decided to create my blog, Tiara Janae, and there are times when I have to say, okay, Tiara, you have to stop working because you need to have balance and you need to know, you need to have self-care. Or even as a student right now, my last semester, I was crazy and I took 24 credits. And so, and I had a goal in the beginning of the semester that I was going to get straight A's. So like towards the middle of my semester, I realized that I was OD working and I was working my body too much. So I had to step back like, okay, is this a realistic goal for your health? Is it a really realistic goal spiritually and professionally? And if so, like, how can you make these adjustments so you're not getting sick so often, so you're not getting headaches, so you're not missing class? And so it was just learning how to tackle this disease, per se, without making it my brand and still living out what I know that God has called me to be and how he has called me to impact communities.
That is so beautiful. And a lot of times when we are diagnosed with certain conditions that we can't help, it can really depress us.
Yeah,
And we can walk around with the woe is me
yeah,
attitude, or we can pull the silver lining out of it and really create something good for ourselves. I think that takes a lot of energy to walk around with a woe is me attitude
yeah,
and live a depression or a depressive life.
yeah.
And I know for some people that's one of those things that, well, I can't help it. But
Yeah,
I think that if we have a support system,
yeah.
as you mentioned, that helps us get through it a little bit better.
Also, it's definitely the support system. Because I have a mother who is a counselor, and she sees like maybe 20 clients a week or even more. And I have a aunt who's a principal doing great things, but also it's like retraining your mind. So for me,
Yeah.
it was really staying grounded in my word and like grounded in devotionals. So really understanding like who I am and who I belong to. So like obviously like God has given me like this challenge or to overcome. And so at the same time, God has been able to give me all of the tools that I need to overcome this obstacle. So therefore I should like not try to do this by myself, but I should lean on him and like lean on my support system, because I would not be able to, graduate with all of the activities that I've done without having some other source of knowledge that's helping me back up. So I think the support system, your spiritual support system, and also like just your regular community helps you as well.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you did have the support system and you have a mother that's a counselor. So
Yeah,
she knows how to communicate with you in the most effective way. She might not be able to do it as effective as if she was working with a client where she's a little bit more objective.
yeah,
But it as a counselor, I hope that she's empathetic, where she's able to provide loving support and loving words of encouragement to you. What would
definitely.
you say to those people that go through things in life and they may even have some dreams that they've had since childhood that they
Yeah,
would love to bring to fruition, but they don't come from a family where there's a lot of support, or they don't have friends where there's a lot of support, and they know that they can't do it alone? What kind of recommendations would you give to these people?
yeah. First, I would say you have to know what your purpose is. So you like really have to hone down and pray and like journal and seek what your purpose is and find that niche. So, for example, like right now, branding is the new thing. Everybody is like rebranding companies, rebranding people. You see it all over IG. Like, let me help you brand yourself or rebrand your self image or rebrand your professional profile. So when you look at that area of branding, you have to say, okay, I'm good at social media, I'm good at taking photos. So how can I help someone brand, and how can I really hone on that? So I would say, like, for me, I am a great content creator. So I will seek other people on social media who are great content creators as well,
Mhm.
and who are going to challenge me. So it's simple, like as direct messaging someone like, hi, I'm Tiara. I'm seeking to be a content creator post graduation. How can I learn from you? Can you give me a few tips on seeking this profession? So you really have to know what you want to be, so you know what to seek for and a mentor. So, and when you're seeking a mentor, do you want them to give you book recommendations? Do you want them to sit down for lunch and talk with you, or do you want them to invest in your business? So really knowing what you're seeking is important, and then taking that faith, that leap of faith to talk with someone. So like this past semester, I was able to intern with NASA in Houston, Texas, where I knew absolutely nobody. I had no family there, and I just knew I was going to be miserable. However, I had a great boss who really encouraged me to go out for lunch with people, who told me, like, connected with me with different females on the campus. So I would just send emails like maybe once a week. And I said, hi, I'm an intern and I want to work in diversity inclusion in the corporate America. So could you please sit down with me for 30 minutes when you have time? And I would just sit and soak in so much information and write notes. And they would tell me different people to reach out to. So from that meeting, I would reach out to different people. So I think it's really having that, being able to take that leap of faith to reach out to people, either via social media, or during your professional realm, being able to read bios and then emailing people and saying, like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I would love to gain from you, and this is possibly what I could give to you. And then secondly, I think my faith has been a huge part of my life. So most churches have life groups or Bible studies, and or small groups, and I think joining a life group or a small group is another way to connect with people who have the same mindset as you and who are going through the same struggles as you, and they're able to keep you accountable. So like I'm able to connect with people at my local church here at Hampton who are going to Hampton. They love to enjoy college, and they also are pretty grounded in their word. So just being able to connect with those different type of people, and then those different type of people will help you connect to a larger realm. So one of my closest friends here at Hampton, Charisse, she's in my same community at church, and she's able to connect with me with people who are going to help me on my professional endeavors. So that's what I say. I would really say make your story known and know what your purpose is, because that allows mentors to either attract to you or you to seek mentorship as well.
Yeah, and I think the crux of everything that you mentioned really stems from seek the support that you need. If it's not where you have it in your immediate circle, there are so many people on this earth that think like you or think in a way that can help you achieve that dream. So when I say think like you, I don't mean like your carbon copy is out there. What I mean is a positive, like-minded, purpose-driven, successful person. Like they want to engage in self-development because they want to grow into a better version of themselves. And I sometimes think that people don't necessarily think that it's easy to meet these type of people, but it is so easy. And when you think about it, just think about an event in your local community that attracts positive, like-minded, purpose-driven people. Usually, the people that are going to attend these motivational seminars or conferences are people that are about self-development.
Yeah.
And when you're there, get to know some of the people there. You know, not too many people that are not interested in self-development are not going to attend those events. So you just showing up at as many of those as you can is putting you in the circle of influence that you're really looking for. And for some people, they say, well, how do I find out about these events? Well, most of these people that are asking that question are also scrolling social media all day long. So it's a matter of utilizing a search engine and looking for these type of conferences, events, seminars in your local area and just showing up. Some of them are free of charge and some of them you have to pay for. But I always look at things like that as an investment. You tend to get back more than what you give out, even if you had to pay for that particular event. Think about the connections that can be made and the ideas and brainstorming that can come from those connections to get your investment plus some back, you know? So
Yeah, and even like I know it's hard, especially as college students, to go to these conferences or go to these different workshops because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
So, but there are people who want you to be there. There are people who want to see you succeed, and they will financially support you on those endeavors. So, for example, the National Association of Black Journalists, they have their conference every summer where literally every Black media professional, it seems that they're in that one location. And it's a great opportunity for young media professionals like myself to really connect and get into the industry, to be critiqued on our resumes, to learn how do we navigate this as a Black woman, what do we need to do if we want to be a public relations professional. And so NABJ provides outlets like Project, where they give you hands-on mentorship opportunities, and they pay for your conference. And then there's different other scholarship opportunities where people will either provide your housing or provide a flight or even pay for admissions to the conference. So when you are scrolling on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even Eventbrite for these opportunities, you then have to take the next step and say, okay, how am I going to find resources to get me there? And it's simple as a Google search of like NABJ scholarships. So just like you really have to push yourself beyond. Like, yes, you found a great conference. You found the Her Campus conference in New York this summer. So how am I going to get to Her Campus? And it doesn't always have to be like, I know people like myself, I hate GoFundMe. So you can find different ways to raise resources. Yeah. So like I said previously, it's really just knowing that you have to take the leap of faith and like knowing what you need to accomplish these goals.
Yes. And also knowing that a lot of times you're putting yourself in a situation where you can connect with professionals that will give you the career opportunities that is your next step, even as a college student. Because oftentimes when I speak to college students and they're nearing graduation, their biggest fear is, so what do I do next? Because I don't want to go back to work in the menial job that I was working prior to college. I have this degree now, but it seems as though all the jobs that I'm looking at out there are requiring you to have some level of experience, or it seems as though you have to know somebody. So putting yourself in front of people that could potentially mentor you, people that could potentially offer you a job is key. You have to think big picture sometimes.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
The more opportunities that you have to engage and network with people at professional events, and not all of them are events where you have to pay. There are plenty of free seminars and free events. Plenty of networking opportunities that are free of charge. The more that you can put yourself in those settings, the more likely it is that you'll find the support that you're looking for. You know, some of my strongest supporters as of today are actually people that I met online. You know, not to say that my family and friends are not supportive of me, because they are, but when I speak of support, I'm also talking about the right type of support that knows the right resources that can help. Because sometimes if someone is not walking in a similar career path, they just don't know. They just don't know what resources to provide you with, because that's not their thing, you know? So as much as they would like to give support, it's important to find people with similar hobbies, similar passions, and similar interests, so that you can collaborate and connect your resources together.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say is your intention with your social media presence? Because you're out there putting yourself into the world and trying to inspire people. So what is your intention? What would you like to get from that experience of being online and being transparent and open?
Yeah, so my blog is called Tiara Janae, which are my middle names. My first name, fun fact, is Gladys, but I go by Tiara. So the my blog is based off of my names because I feel like each part of my full name tells a story about myself. So like Gladys is my grandmother's name, and I think it really shows the endurance and the passion that a Black woman has to create change. So I did not meet my grandmother because she died when my mother was young. However, I was able to see the fruits and everything that she poured into my mom, and now there's me. So that's why I have the name Tiara Janae. And so basically through the blog, I want to connect faith-based women across the globe to solve each other's problems, because I think a lot of times we feel that we have to have these struggles internally, and we do not feel like anyone is having the same struggle or has conquered the struggle. So I really want to allow women to give women a platform to share their story. So I have a section on my blog called Her Story, where different women share their journeys through life or share pivotal moments that have helped shape them into who they am. So one of my closest friends here at Hampton, a.k.a. previously wrote a letter to herself for her 21st birthday. And this is where she talked about forgiveness and all of her family dynamic, not problems, but struggles, I would say. And so that hopefully inspired a younger girl who's going through what a.k.a. went through at 16 years old, to help her like feel at ease and maybe even, like you said, reach out to someone else. So faith-based, because I think a lot of times the church is segregated, and I mean the church and probably the education system are the most segregated places in America. And going to a predominantly white church and going to now a predominantly Black church, you see that both of these sides are going through the same thing. So if we can connect different people from different cultures and different age ranges and different backgrounds, I feel like it would even challenge and retrain our thought process even more. So that's why I really want to connect diverse women. And this summer, I'm really excited because I have great stories to share on my platform. And then I'm writing about some pretty awesome stuff as well. So that's really why I started my platform of Tiara Janae and Her Story. And then on my Instagram, you'll just see photos of me going through life. Like a couple weeks, I went to senior ball because I'm a college student. So I want people to also know that I'm a real person, and I'm going through life just like anyone else. I don't have the answers to anything, and I'm seeking to find wisdom from other people and sit at the foot and feet of other people as well, so I can be as great as God has called me to be.
Yeah, I like how you understand that life is about growth, because we can sometimes become complacent and feel like, okay, I've learned everything I need to learn. Life is going good right now. And although there's some challenges, life is pretty good. And then we stop learning or wanting to learn. And you seem as though you're someone that really accepts and values lifelong learning. So I think that if more of us can come to a place in our life where we understand that, what got us to where we are today is not necessarily what we need for tomorrow, and to continue learning and seeking knowledge and surrendering and trusting God, then we will evolve into our best selves.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm always fascinated by people that just have a thirst for wanting to grow more. So that's definitely apparent in everything that you've shared with us today. I want for people to connect with people like you, because what I've also found is that on days where you feel like you're not motivated and you're not encouraged, you have a community of women around you that are encouraged that particular day. And so you don't stay down in the dumps for very long. I always tell people that if I'm having a day where I'm just not my normal self. I don't feel like doing anything. I feel like being lazy and just letting the day slide by. Once I log onto social media and see all these wonderful ladies that I'm connected with, it just automatically inspires me. It's not where I can just be sitting around doing nothing for too long when I'm consistently seeing these positive messages about be more of who you are and show up as a positive light in this world. You know, I just can't stay in that same level of let's just sit back and do nothing. And those days are all right sometimes, but I'm not gonna go a full week of just sitting around doing nothing and not making an impact in this world. You know?
Yeah, and for me, I mean, your niche is like health, and so you probably follow a lot of health and holistic health
Yes.
women. And so for me, my niche is like faith-based, and so for me, it's like when I am scrolling and I feel lonely, I follow people like Heather Lindsay or Jackie Hill Perry, who are like, okay, girl, like you're sad, you're down, you're not motivated, like get in your word, like understand what you need to do, what your purpose is, and get moving. So I think you're right. So those people really help you like indirectly keep you accountable instead of like your own accountability partner who's always in your ear or telling you yeah and no. And sometimes, if we're honest, we get annoyed with our accountability partners, but then we have like this person who we don't even know, or unlike you, like you know some people on your social media feed, but we may not even know them, and they're able to indirectly help us live more of a purpose-driven life. So I definitely agree.
Yes, and help comes directly and indirectly.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, Tiara. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day and talking to us. You guys, she's a busy lady, so I surely hope that you will appreciate everything that she shared with us today, and also share this with other people out there that may be struggling sometimes with identifying what their life purpose and actually living in that purpose. I believe that once we actually define what is within us that we can give to this world, we begin to live a more fulfilling life. And that's what life purpose is all about, living a life that's fulfilling while we're learning lessons along the way. Anyone that is struggling with finding a community of like-minded women online, you'll see in the description box my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. That is a group where we don't just talk about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint, but we also talk about nutrition from a mind, body, soul perspective. So what we're feeding our mind, body, and soul is important to how we develop in this world. So for anyone that needs a community, I invite you to join us. And for joining, you will also have access to a complimentary tool that I can provide to you to help you discover what your career or life purpose is, in addition to another complimentary gift that you can have that would help support you living a healthier and whole life. All that information is in the description box, as well as Tiara's if you would like to follow her. And I encourage you to do so you can see what good stuff she has in the forefront here. And for those of you that would love to share your story or your challenges, particularly, get in contact with me, and I would love to have you on the show as well. You guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world, and always remember to live a meaningful and purposeful life. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.